Okay, that is John Combest, the smartest man in the world. I'm Brad Hildebrand, the dumbest guy in the world. We do the show between 7 and 8 o'clock, except when I wake up at 5 and think it's...
Except when you're a little premature, Brad.
Right. That's what she said. Okay, so I sound like a John Combest there. Okay, so we do the show live between 7 and 8 o'clock, and if you're listening to the podcast, if you're listening to it on YouTube channel, and that's bjshow.video, you know this is actually a live radio show. Okay, so the last block, I promoted the fact that there are two screwy things going on with the state of Missouri. One, Channel 5 did this and once again, John's going to jump on me about this, but Channel 5 did this very good little mini expose on this woman who lives in St. Charles County. And she went through, and they tease it, a woman has graduated from St. Charles Community College with her nursing degree, and she can't get her license to be a nurse in the state of Missouri. Okay, have you heard this story?
No, but I'm excited to hear what my ridiculous argument is against you.
Well, it's not necessarily against this, but okay. It turns out the woman did go to St. Charles Community College and graduated with her nursing degree. And when she applied to the state of Missouri, she was rejected. The state of Missouri will not issue her nursing license. They decided because of the fact that she's a DACA kid. Her parents came across from Mexico illegally, and she was not born here in the United States. Otherwise, we have the anchor law, the anchor baby law, but she was not born here in the United States. She was 4 years old when her parents came across the border illegally. So therefore, she is one of the DACA people, and puts her into a gray area. Now, the interesting part of this is that the story goes on to say that she goes to Springfield to get her nursing license, and she gets a nursing license in 15 minutes, but Missouri will not issue her license. And I'm going like, okay, here we go again. Missouri, I get it. They got these goofy, stupid laws that say you have to be a citizen of the United States, and she's technically not a citizen of the United States because she's an undocumented alien or whatever you want to call it. Don't you think there should be somebody like come forward and say, you know what, we're going to make an exception here? Or is that too much to ask?
No, I think actually that sounds pretty fair. And I think if you're a Missouri elected official and you want workforce development, there has to be a way. I don't think it's enough for Republicans to say, get rid of all the illegals and get them out of here. I think there has to be a way that you propose a path to citizenship. And I would be surprised, depending on how much publicity the story gets, I would be surprised if a legislator doesn't propose something for a certain amount of job. Like if you put enough guardrails, I guess you could say, around it, that if you are an anchor baby, if you are some sort of illegal and you have a path to citizenship, that you could, work in one of these jobs or get whatever certification. That seems reasonable to me, Brad.
Well, but
I think what a lot of folks have a problem with is I think there's a difference between an anchor baby who wants to be a nurse and wants to work in some sort of profession like above board versus somebody who sneaks in the flatbed of a truck and then wants to get a construction job for cash, undermining union jobs and other above board jobs. You get what I'm saying?
No, I do, but there's a difference though. If she were an anchor baby, let's say her parents came into the country illegally and then she was born, she would be an American citizen. So there would be no gray area here.
That's true. So wait a minute, she was smuggled in here when she was already alive.
She was 4 years old. Yes,
okay, I'm sorry, Brad. You did say that. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was smuggled into the United States illegally, and she made an attempt to become a legitimate citizen.
Well, apparently this is the whole DACA thing, is that there's all these goofy, stupid, and once again, this was a thing that Obama really pushed. And I do believe that there is an issue here that if, and let's look at it from our own standpoint. Let's say that's us and your mom and dad.
And you not to interrupt, but you it wasn't this girl's choice to be snuck across the border.
Exactly. It wasn't her decision. She didn't jump into a car and go, I'm 4 years old, I'm going to the United States. Her parents.
Or in her case, a lawnmower, probably.
Right. Her parents brought her here, came across the border. What her parents did was wrong, but she becomes a victim of their decisions. And I think at that point, I do agree with the DACA thing where they say, okay, there should be some dispensation for the fact that we should say, okay, we know what the law is, but let's put a sub paragraph in there that if you were brought across the border and you were under the age of 17 at the time or whatever, pick an age, but 17 or 18 years old, or because I guess it would be 17 or younger because then you're still considered a minor. If you're 17 or younger, then you do have a right to citizenship. But I think that at that point in time, and see, if I'm not mistaken, the whole issue with the DACA thing is they can't even apply for the naturalization process because of the fact that they've essentially become illegally traversed into the United States, if that makes any sense. You get what I'm saying? It's in other words,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I do get what you're saying. So it seems like there would be some kind of a happy medium there. Again, for people that want to establish a path to citizenship, I don't know why we wouldn't grant them that.
Right.
I think in this case of like a nurse, there could be like a special provision where, in the hospital lunchroom, she would have to put on a sombrero and sing happy birthday like they do at Chevy's.
John's always...
light up like a sopapilla or whatever the hell those little things. I don't ever eat those. They bring them to the table, and I'm like, oh, great. And then you ask other people if they want to bite of it. But I don't know. I think there's other ways that they could provide value besides their occupation.
I will apologize to John to all our Mexican listeners this morning.
Hey, Brad, you know what you call a 4-foot-tall Mexican woman?
What? I don't.
Consuelo.
I don't know if I want to hear. Okay.
It's CONSUELO. Consuelo.
Okay. So you do agree with me that there should be something done for her?
Yeah, it seems like there could be a better option than saying, sorry, you can't work here.
Well, and once again, she's not working across the river in the Sauget district. She's gone to school, has graduated, has a degree which I believe is a BSRN. I don't think you can become a nurse anymore without having the 4-year college, the BS, the BSR. There was a time when, if you talk to some nurses been around for a long time, some of the nurses originally it was a 2-year degree and you didn't have to get a bachelor's. Now I think it's required, a BSRN. So in other words, she's put in the time. She's put in the effort. Give her the degree. And not only that, she's helping people. She's going to end up working in a hospital or something like that where she's going to be serving other people. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Okay.
And I'm sorry to report, Brad, that I don't disagree with you on this one. We're going to have to find another issue to argue about.
Okay. Issue number 2. Do you know about this meltdown with the Department of...
Do I know about what?
This meltdown with the Department of Revenue and the driver's license thing?
Oh, snap. I don't know.
Oh, here we go again. The state, and once again, Elon Musk would have a field day with this. Okay, the state, remember reading this article that they're streamlining their operations and they're going to make it so much easier to get a new driver's license, so much easier to get your driver's license renewed. Well, guess what? The exact opposite has happened. They, as I understand it, I don't know if it was last week or last month, within the last 30 days, they shut down all the DOR offices for driver's license for 2 days while they apparently rolled out this new computer program and put in new software and new hardware and all this kind of stuff. And now it's worse that people are saying they stood in line for like 7 hours. And I saw this on Channel 5's website where they have this one woman who, well, she went to the Olivet office and that line was 8 hours long, and she went to the St. Charles office and that line was 7 hours long. And it's to the point where it's like, what in the world is going on? I mean, why is, name me anybody who drives a car or has got a driver's license. And I have multiple cars. And John laughs about me because of the fact when I want to renew my license plates on my cars, I get new license plates for a car or something like that, I drive to Jefferson City. I drive all the way to Jefferson City.
And you get concierge service.
I get amazing service because part of it is, and it's hard for me to the words come out of my mouth, it's run by the state. Now, once again, you go to your local DMVs, DOR offices, whatever you want to call it, fee offices. They are not franchises, but they're essentially, what do you call it?
They're patronage
offices. If you know Mike Keogh and if you know Mike Parson and, you had barbecue with him, 10 years ago and you call him up one day, hey, Mike, remember we had you over my house and we barbecued? Oh, yeah, okay. You get a driver's license office. You know what I mean? Right. It's that kind of a deal, right?
Here. Hours-long waits reported at St. Louis area driver's license. Now, every time I click on the KSDK link, Brad, it automatically opens 43 video players and wants me to subscribe and wants notifications. So I'm not going to open it while we're on the air. But it looks like you're right. It looks like there's been a big delay there, and I don't know what the story is. Well, I'll have to dig into that after the show, Brad. Well, I'm interested to hear what it is. Because as you've pointed out, every time you've gone in, you've had great service. I went in last year to a West County office, and I couldn't believe how quick and efficient the whole process was. It blew my mind.
Well, but once again, the problem on this is that recently, one of my plates, I needed to renew the plates on one of my cars, okay? I go to the St. Charles office, which has been there forever on Raymond Drive. It's moved. It's over across the highway now in the Regency Plaza. I go there, and it's like just a mess. It's just a mess. And, and everybody's confused at what you're supposed to do because you got to go up to a kiosk and you got to put your name in. And the problem is I get behind some person who's probably younger than me who still does not know how to use a touchpad on a computer. What do I do? And somebody comes, I've done that. I've helped people out. Okay. So I think to myself, okay, this sucks. I'm just going to Jefferson City. So I think to myself, you know what? There's one last chance before I get to Jefferson City. I'll go to Warrenton. So I stopped in the old outlet mall out there, is where the driver's license bureau is, or the DMV or DOR, whatever you want to call it, out in Warrenton. 2.5 hours. Okay. I drive to Jefferson City. And here's how they've changed it again. I didn't even tell you this. Now you go to the concierge, and the concierge lady sitting at this little table, literally, as you walk in the door, and she's very nice. Hi, thanks for coming. She greets you in the whole bit. I go like, is this a government office? What's going on with this? And she says, can I see your paperwork? And I showed her my paperwork, and she goes through it. Here's the interesting thing. She's the gatekeeper, because now, if you don't have the proper paperwork, if you're missing something, you're missing like your insurance, card or something like that. She asks you, do you have your insurance card? No, I don't. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, but we can't go any further with this because
that's great. So that's a stop. That keeps all the people that don't have their stuff together from clogging up the rest of the system.
Exactly. And I'm thinking to myself,
which is brilliant. And you know what? That rewards people like you, Brad, who come prepared, who have everything in a file folder and are ready to go.
Right. And I walk in, I go, okay, you need this. She looks at it. She goes, okay, fine. So then when I go up to the window, I'm thinking to myself, okay. And I said, do I need, I start pulling the paperwork. She goes, oh, no, you're fine. Because I go, well, I don't show you. No. You got past, I don't know what she called it. Checkpoint Charlie. She didn't say that, but, you got past Checkpoint Charlie.
Checkpoint Charlene. If you work in a state government office, you probably work with a woman named Charlene, and she probably used to smoke Marlboro Reds, and now she probably just pops this in and gets her high in different ways. Well,
but see, once again, I'm in and out, and the crazy part of it is, if I wouldn't have stopped for lunch, and unfortunately I can't go to Zaxby's anymore because they closed them in Columbia, but I probably would have gone past the Warrenton office and still had not had my name come to the top of the list. You know what I'm saying? And
I do know, yeah. And instead you got to burn some fossil fuels and you got to put additional mileage on your car before you destroyed it in your own driveway.
Yeah, before I smashed into it. You know what? Don't even talk to me about that. I look at it every day and I think to myself, I can't get into the driver's side anymore because I can't get the door open.
Well, I think it's really polite that you open your own. You do a very gentlemanly, you open your own passenger door and then you attempt to slide over, Brad. I think that's very gentlemanly of you to open the passenger door for yourself.
And the car has a console in it with a floor shift, and it's very difficult for an old guy like me who's 89.
And you're only 7 foot tall, Brad. So it's not like you can just hop over the top like some sort of manlet.
Right, and it's a compact car, which makes it worse because it's tough to get in and out to begin with. Okay, so the DOR thing, are you going to delve in that a little bit further and see what you can find on that?
I'll read the KSDK article. Yeah, I missed it. And again, I see the headline here, and it looks like it's pretty serious. Now, these are examples. It appears, Brad, you've cited 2 examples of local journalists taking real-life things that matter to people, even the immigrant story, and it seems like this is pretty good journalism.
And I you know what? I'm glad you made that point. I couldn't agree with you more, because this is what true local journalism is. There's no axe grinding on this. They presented the case, and the interesting thing was, I think the thing that made me really stand up and take notice was when it was a woman that did both stories. I can't remember who it was. You probably have it right there in front of you. But when she pointed out the fact that this woman who got her nursing degree from Skakakaka, as we call it, drove to Springfield, Illinois, got her nursing license in 15 minutes. I'm going like, okay, let's think about this for a minute. Don't we normally think of Illinois as the place that's really screwed up and it has all these?
That's very with a whole bunch of bureaucracy.
Right. And he's got Pritzker, and it's the Democrats run everything, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and we're going to tax you more, and we're going to tax you more. And by the way, have you heard this new crazy thing? We're out of time here. Have you heard this new crazy thing where Pritzker has started this organization of governors who are going to fight Trump? Have you heard this?
Oh, no. You mean like a fight club, like a Brad Pitt type of thing?
Yes.
Because, I mean, I think Pritzker's out of his weight class.
Nobody is in Pritzker's weight class. What are you talking about? Maybe if you went to the zoo, there'd be an elephant in Pritzker's weight class. Did I just say that? I can't believe I just said that.
You know what? I'd love to stay in chat, Brad, but I hear that if you need anything done, you got to hop on 55 North. And I hear there's some guy that's selling some large, bulky radio items. My payment might not go through, but I'm going to go pick up some radio items, make the long drive, and come on back. How's that sound, Brad? You want to ride with me? I got a license plate that's got all X's in a row. I'll probably get pulled over.
Are you Nelly? Ride with me.
No, I'm Brad Hildebrand.
No. Okay, John, say goodbye.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?